on education is where we're starting now. We have Ms. Eva Porras. I think she's coming up now. She's the CEO of Blockchain Smart Technologies and lead researcher at SmartLedger. Mr. Osita Oparaugo, he's the founder, CEO of GetBundi, an education technology platform. And then we have Mr. Anish Baheti. He's a 4-time TEDx speaker, award-winning author. He keynotes on so many platforms. And then he's also an educational influencer and podcaster. If they are here, I think we're going to spotlight them. And then they are coming up now, and we go into the session. So with each and every session that is going to happen now, there will be questions that I will be presenting to the guests, to the speakers. And then towards the end of it, there will be an avenue for Q&A from the different other audiences that are here. And as I said, as best as we can from the team, please let's get the questions and inputs that are coming up from LinkedIn, because most of the participants that we have are streaming on LinkedIn. And then some are on Facebook, I see, and then on YouTube. Yeah, so those are the 3 platforms that I'm seeing the other members now, the other audiences. Mr. Osita is here already, I see. Miss Eva, is she here? And then Mr. Anish Baheti, I see him in the chat room. Okay, can we spotlight all of us? Okay, I see Mr. Anish also. So one more person is coming up, Miss Eva Porras. Is she here? Okay.
I am here, but I cannot activate my video. You have to activate it, I think, or somebody.
All right, can the team
somehow I can't
activate her video? Yeah, she's struggling to activate her video. So if the team can quickly check in the settings so that we don't waste much time here. But in the meantime, anyway, welcome, Mr. Anish, Mr. Osita.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a while, exactly.
Yes, Mr. Osita, nice meeting you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
you for the invite as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think, Mr. Osita, you are in Kenya, I think, at the moment.
Right? No, Rwanda at the moment.
Rwanda, okay, yeah, very close proximity. Okay, Mr. Anish, I think you travel a lot, so it's hard to know where you are at the moment.
So currently, I'm in India, and it's 2 o'clock, 2:30. In fact, 2:40 over here. So yeah, I'm here currently. Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very nice having you here. Have we adjusted the settings for Miss Eva? We have? Okay. Miss Eva, if you can try your video now, I think it should work. By the way, as she's coming up, I will just go right into the questions. So the topic today on education is trying to answer the question or ask the question and answer basically regarding AI, whether it's really going to make formal schooling redundant. As you know, this is something that once the whole of this year with ChatGPT and so many other platforms came, one of the industries that were kind of scrutinized or where people were wondering what's going to happen is the education space. So this is why it's very important. I think let's address from your different perspectives and your experiences also, so that not just for the sake of Tungsten, but also for other audiences that are here. We have a lot of students, but we also have a lot of educators here that hopefully this will inform what they are doing in the next year. So let me ask the first question. And by the way, I may also go off script based on what the questions that audiences are asking and based on the responses that you are also giving. So my first question will be on as database for AI platforms. like ChatGPT, for instance, and others, as much as possible, as they're expanding, are we seeing a standardization of curriculum, learning materials, and content across institutions, especially when going forward? Is there any difference amongst educational institutions in terms of the curriculum and learning materials? What are we seeing happening basically right now at the moment from your experiences? Oh, I hope you
Are
got
you
the question.
asking overall, or anybody can start answering, or?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, we
Yes.
can start. Yeah, we can start with you, Ms. Eva, and then Mr. Osita and Mr. Anish.
Okay, I don't think so. I think well, I don't know what will happen, obviously, and I guess
Yeah.
everybody has to start using these new tools, and we'll see
Right.
what they finally do with them. But I think these tools are not intelligent per se, okay? And I
Right.
hope the brain behind some institutions will take charge and will use these tools as tools, not as the brain itself, not as the decision maker of what has to be where. Because I also think all the content is not so relevant. What is relevant is to organize knowledge in a way that gives students an ability to understand the problems and to organize priorities and to have a criteria that is valuable for the occasion. Okay, I think ChatGPT is not going to do that for you. In general, it might happen. It does at some point or in some occasions, but so I think and I hope it's going to be the people who know what they are doing actually are the ones that will organize the content that is relevant for whatever purpose they have.
Right.
This I say as an introduction.
Yeah. I see your point actually. Meaning it should be a tool and not an end, basically. So it should be something that is a tool to use rather than actually it being an end to what. And I think the integration also, as you said, it's important. And I think same question to you, Mr. Osita. In terms of
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so same question actually in terms of standardization of curriculum and learning materials. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you see, when you're talking about learning and learning materials, so we have people here from diverse backgrounds, right? Diverse continents. So Anish is in India. I think Eva is in Europe, and I'm in Africa. Now, we have to look at it based on the contextualization of what is available and what is really relatable in the continent at which we operate.
Right.
For me, AI, ChatGPT, and all that, they're smart, right? Okay, but we are fooled. People are fooled to believe or to think that these tools are as smart as they are. They're in no smart. They are not smart. They are not smart in the sense that these are collection of words that have been put together based on some statistical probabilities to produce a test. But they may not produce a test that is so relevant in the African context. In the first instance, the alphabets and the words that are used to produce the ChatGPT generative transformers, right? Pre-trained transformers. Who trained them? Who trained these transformers? Africans, Europeans, or Americans? So for me, it is just a support to education. And Africa should be very careful. What we should do as a continent is to first of all unify our curriculum. Africa should unify the learning curriculum from post-primary education to the tertiary institution. Once we unify the curriculum, we now use the words that are related to our curriculum and to learning in our continent to generate our own AIs and the chat GPTs, then it will be acceptable as a support to institution and to learning in Africa. So they are nice. They are, for me, it supports education, but it does not replace knowledge in itself. That's what I think.
Yeah, I see the connection also with what Ms. Eva said actually, which is the brain or whoever created actually, it's still coming from a human being. The programming and everything that goes beyond ChatGPT, or that is still from a human being, is not going to replace the human that prompts it, basically, or that programs it. And I think it's the same question for Mr. Anish also, if asked from all his experiences different locations also, in terms of curriculum, learning material of educational institutions, how do you see it in terms of AI existing within what we have right now in those institutions?
So personally, I think that it takes a broken heart to nurture and heal another heart. And until we see AI having a heartbreak, it will never replace, as rightly said by my co-panelists, it is never going to replace the traditional classroom. But there are certain benefits. I would like to highlight certain areas which a chat GPT is, it is really nice in terms of diagnosing the knowledge gaps. It can help, in two areas, in learning as well as in assessment. In learning, it can help a student answer questions, summarize some information, maybe promote some sort of a collaboration. In terms of assessment, it can help the teachers in terms of the concept check. It can help in terms of exam preparation, drafting assistance, and providing quality feedback. These are some of the qualities. So the idea here is to use it as a tool, to use it as a complement. It can never replace the traditional classroom setting. As I said before, that you need a physical human being to understand another human being's problem. There is some sort of an emotional bonding, which a software can never replace. That is my personal take on that. There is this is just a start. This chat GPT is just a start. There are other technology which is going to come. I was just watching this video where a student was just sitting in the classroom. The teacher is talking and the student is just sitting, and he started the microphone and he gave the command that, okay, convert whatever my teacher is saying into notes. And he's just simply sitting and the teacher is speaking, and the chat GPT is actually converting entire talk into the narrative, into this thing. So somewhere it can be used as a good tool, but it will also make our students a bit lazy. That is how I would put. So that is my take on your first question. So it will never replace the traditional classroom and the traditional brick and mortar sort of a setup.
Yeah. I think I see your point, Anish, because also, as we see, most of the AI right now, sometimes I actually, when I'm having discussions with other educators, I tell them, we have these discussions about Google existing before AI and other things, textbooks existing before AI. This is just another level of information being available. But at this point, the information is being almost thought through in real time by the AI. I think that's what the major difference is right now. For my next question, I want to ask about basically in terms of lifelong learning. As all of you actually mentioned, and as many of the audience know, information is very much available on Google, AI, and etc., right? But for lifelong learning, especially at higher institutions, it depends on what you study, right? Or what type of career you're in. So to what extent do you see the need for degrees at the higher educational level? being affected by AI at the moment. So whether you are getting a degree or not, because now AI exists. Because as I said, I think it depends also on what you are studying. But to what extent do you see higher education degrees being replaced or affected by AI at the moment? Yeah, we go in that order, I think. Maybe Ms. Eva.
Yes, so I think institutions and people are going to use artificial intelligence for many purposes. One is to compile data information, to cut corners, you know, to make to, let's say, get rid of human resources and replace them with you know, with these tools. So I think one aspect is going to be that it's going to be used and this will have consequences. A second aspect is that because it's going to be in our society, we need to learn about it and we need to learn how this is a tool for us. Okay. So at least in these two areas, Chat GPT and other artificial intelligence tools are going to be present. I think it's very important people learn about them because they interfere with society, and people need to have the capacity to understand, you know, what is true, what is man-made, what is machine-made. When do you have a partial point of view on issues? Because, okay, maybe Chat GPT, for example, will give you information, but there are two problems about this. How does it choose the information it gives you? And second of all, you also have a learning process when you look for information, and you're just not having that learning part of the learning process, which actually may be one of the most important ones, you know. So to find data, to research, to determine why this is good and this is bad is part of our educational process, and it builds our intellect. And if you are just putting all of that search in the hands of a tool without a critical, let's say, overview of it, you know, I think you are really setting yourself for problems. So, so I think, you know, these tools are here to stay. I think they will be incorporated in many processes. And I think people need to learn about them, how to use them, and also how to detect them and how to detect their impact. And at least in this, I think they have to be part of any educational program, you know, obviously long-term learning too, because people who already did the learning as young people need to be upgraded into what is going on in society.
Yeah, I see. And Mr. Osita, same question for you in terms of long-term, lifelong learning. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to have its pros and cons, right? The good side, the bad side, right? But it also, now, you see, there are some students that have the high vocabulary, right? And some have limited vocabularies, right? The students who have high vocabularies, right? The AI will help them navigate through the subject matter more. But no matter how smart the AI is, they can't think for you. If you have a limited vocabulary, your use of the tool will be most definitely limited. You see, so in that space, even when you use it, you see that you may have copied it verbatim, right? And dumped it on the teachers who you are giving more work now. But the issue is, does it make you a job-ready individual? If you went through the universities and all you did was copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, are you an expert in the subject matter to which you carry a degree? So to a certain extent, the support that AI will give to students will depend on the students' understanding of the context. So now it's going to help, but at the same time, it's going to affect the output of the individuals. And then again, these are generated by people, content creators.
Yeah.
And you know that when it comes to content creating, people are not equal. If they are, when you go to YouTube, they pay some content creators more and they pay some content creators less. When you see professors, some professors earn more, some earn less. People are paid, people have all cadres of life, right? So when you go to copy and paste for students, whose material are you actually depending on? Because all these things come into play. So I think that yes, it has the support, but at the same time, it's going to affect the overall output of the students if they are limited words, if they have limited vocabulary, which will make it difficult for them to sieve, be able to dive the vital what they get from the tool. So it's really, it's going to be there for a very long time, right? But I think that at the long run, there should not be a check, an AI check that begins to now say, fact check, this information is right, this information is wrong, until we get to that point, what most of these students would bring out may be not really what they are supposed to have access to. So it now depends on how your vocabulary, how high it is for you to contextualize what aspect of what you get is true or is not.
Yeah, makes so much sense. Yes, same question, Anish. Lifelong learning, getting degrees, and all that.
So there was one research done a while back, and they asked, will AI replace educators and teachers, and chatbot robots and AI are going to replace teachers or not? So almost about 64% said yes. Now, I usually want to give both the sides because I prefer to be in harmony and to take the best of both the worlds. So I would say that AI and ChatGPT in specific can definitely help in terms of education management, learning and assessment, empowering teachers. It also helps in lifelong learning, because if I want to know something about say Renaissance age, I can simply type in there and I will get some information. So in a way, I am doing lifelong learning using that as a tool. That's my take on ChatGPT. So it definitely helps you in lifelong learning. But as you know, there was another research done, and they asked what are the challenges from the student's perspective when they go online and learn something. And there are four main distractions. One of them is, there are four main challenges which students face. One of them is fear of distraction. Because while you're online doing certain things, you might click something else, you will get some information and you will get distracted in terms of your learning process. So fear of distraction. There was lack of motivation also. There was lack of discipline also. And extracurricular activities which you get in a very physical space. It's very difficult for you to get it in an online space. So from my perspective, I would say that educators have got a slightly more responsible role now, rather than treating themselves as just teachers and educators. They need to cultivate, they should treat themselves as instruments to cultivate students' belief, their thinking, their emotions, their willpower, their courage, their introspection, their creativity, their innovation, their imagination. If they start doing that, and if the student, as my co-panelists say, that whatever you need, you will get an answer from the device or the ChatGPT. But how relevant it is, the authenticity of that. So students also have got a responsibility in terms of whatever they are putting in. They should be, it's like garbage in, garbage out, right? So what they put in, they should be more careful. They should be more mindful. And that's where their creativity is going to come into play. That what is the question which I need to enter here? And then see what data they get. So I think both student and teachers have got a slightly more responsible role in a ChatGPT world.
Yeah, this makes so much sense actually. So that I think because I'm trying to also try to get a lot of the input that is coming from the chat section, but also from other platforms that we're streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. But most of it looks like it's agreeing with what all of you as the panelists are saying, you as the experts. I want to ask a separate kind of question, because I always look at education as knowledge, skills, and attitude, right? The knowledge side is kind of easier to be achieved with AI or with Google and etc. But the skill side, especially if you think of technical and vocational learning programs, I wonder to what extent do you think AI will be able to help in that sense, or exist? Maybe it already does provide skill development around the world in where you see. So, but I wonder what your perspective is in terms of skill development using AI. So let's forget the knowledge side. Let's focus on the skill side, technical, vocational skills, etc. Eva, we'll start with you first.
Skills, it depends what type of skills we are talking about, of course, but, you can look at the skills and then chat, any kind of artificial intelligence can help you look at things, Now, when it comes to the point of yourself doing them in a real environment, again, you can look at it happen when you're looking, when you're using artificial intelligence, but there comes a time that you have to do it in the real environment without the help of anybody, and this goes even for decision-making skills. So it's not only, let's say, practical skills. Let's say if you're an engineer and you're trying to build a device or whatever it is, this is one aspect, but then there is another aspect, which is decision-making, or even just having a conversation that is productive. This is a skill, getting the best out of your workforce, So there are many things that, yes, you can be, let's say, trained in a way when you're a spectator, or even when you have fake people that are training you and they, pinpoint questions and they pinpoint situations. But then there is reality, there is the complexity of reality, there is what is at stake in reality. So does it help? I think, yes, it can help. But then again, the test is reality. How successful are you? How do you navigate all the complexities? And I guess you'll find out when you're put in the real situation, when something real is at stake,
Yeah, I see your point actually. And skills that are cognitive skills, or is what you're saying, that at this moment it can be achieved, but hands-on type of skills, I think it's still a long way to go. Yeah.
I mean, for example, you are navigating an aeroplane. Of course, you can be helped by artificial intelligence, how to learn to navigate and land and, and so on. And then they can put as much reality into that context as it is possible, and this, of course, will provide training to you, But we've seen aeroplanes go wrong because the pilot didn't want to wake up. So, and this has happened, the pilot was sleeping, the other guys didn't want to bother him because they were impressed by his, let's say, resume or whatever, and the aeroplane went down. So,
Yeah, I see the point. It makes so much sense, Ms. Eva. Mr. Osita, same for you on the skill side, AI helping skill development.
Yeah, so I think that yes, it's a support tool. I agree completely, but I also think that it is more of a support tool to a large extent. The skills that are not human to human contact, right? The skills that have to do being proactive, right? It can't replace that thinking. It may support the knowledge and understanding of the field, but it can never replace that proactiveness that you get from being a master in your domain. Do you get? So yes, okay. So flying an aeroplane, right? So an AI can be a support, right? Maybe if he says that the pilot is sleeping, if you are supposed to make a certain body movement in an 20 minutes time and you've become redundant. So the AI can, think that, Kai, this dude is not moving, right? And then do something to wake you up, maybe a noise, alarm, or stuff, right? But the AI can't stand and land an aeroplane. If they develop one like that, then I will start to go by sheep,
Yeah, yeah.
You get. So I think it's a great support tool. It's going to help humanity a whole lot. It's going to get things done faster, but it will not be much needed in critical skill areas. It may not be 100% in the critical skill areas than it is in diagnosis. It could help in healthcare more to diagnose, it could help in agriculture to be able to understand how pests are used, how, those areas, yes. But critical skill areas, I doubt if it will perform at an optimal level.
Okay. Very good indeed. Mr. Anish, finally, I think we have we're crept into the next session, but it's okay. Let's have your final.
Sure. So I will keep it really
skill development. Yes.
Yeah, I'll keep it really short. So basically, I would say that you can ask ChatGPT to, you learn the skill by entering the right sort of question, as I said in the beginning also, like what kind of question you put into the software. You will get the data, but somewhere you have to apply it. Somewhere you have to practice it. So it's just the knowledge. Okay, knowledge is not going to help you unless and until you know there is a place where you can go. So you can learn about swimming. What are the kinds of swimming? What are the freestyle? What is this style, backstroke, etc. by getting the information from the software. But then you have to go to the swimming pool to learn to swim. So I think skill in terms of knowledge, yes, you will definitely be able to get it. But then you need to have a place and area, a situation and environment where you can apply those skills to sharpen your knowledge. So I think it's time that we cultivate thinkers, we cultivate people who can bring the best out of both the worlds. And I would like to, leave with a word which I personally feel this is a very nice tool, very good tool. But the word which I want to leave the audience is with leverage. Try to leverage the best of both the worlds. Try to collaborate. It will definitely, instead of just fearing from this technology and running away and just shutting it off or going completely into it, both are not good. Just find the middle way, the balanced way, and take the best of both the worlds.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, each and every one of you. It's been very insightful. I didn't even go through half of the questions. There's still more to go through, but I think we'll stop here because of the next panel session. Mr. Osita Oparaugo, Mr. Anish Baheti, and Ms. Eva Porras. If you can, I think the team can put in your LinkedIn pages in the chat box so that if the audience wants to know more about this topic or in other things that you do, other businesses and work that you do from around the world, they can link up and know more about it, about your companies and etc. But from me now, it's thank you, and we're moving on to the next session.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.